everyone. Welcome to Gameplay First, where fun is second to none. My name's Tyler, and tonight we've got a really big show. My guests tonight are two very talented artists. The first is the writer and director of Union Square, A Love Story, and the creator of the upcoming web series My Life as a Video Game. The second is a very talented writer and singer. His second CD, Bits of Me, is now available from Level Up Studios. Please welcome Petros, Ioannou and Brent, brentalfloss Black. Welcome to the show, guys. To start off, what's the show about?
The show is about a guy called Don DeWitt, who kind of an outcast in his world, geek, bit of a loner, doesn't really fit anywhere. And one day he finds this magical disc that sucks him into the world of video games. And that's the premise, is that he gets pulled into this world, and he's going through different genres, like first-person shooters, beat-em-ups, side-scrollers like Double Dragon. You've got like RPGs like Skyrim and survival horrors like Resident Evil. And it's kind of like a something for everyone show. That like every couple of weeks he'll be going to a new genre with like with the other characters and meeting like the sort of like heroes of those worlds. And without it being a specific game, it's just like those genres in general.
Okay, I was going to say, are you going to lampoon like specific games, or is it just going to be the general genre?
I think specific games will be lampooned, but it won't be them. It's not them specifically. Like we have instead of Jimmy and Billy from Double Dragon, we have like our own versions, like Johnny and Bobby, who are, I think, more based on the Double Dragon Neon version, where they're a bit intentionally 80s cheesy.
All right. Is the series going to be live action then?
Yes, it's 99% live action. I'm considering doing an animated episode in the future, but right now I think it would be too cumbersome to do at the moment. Even though we are getting a high budget, that's because we're trying to create something out there that's going to be fairly like good production values and stuff like that. So
right.
Brent's character is like live action, but it involves having to do special effects with him all the time and stuff like that, because he's going to be a floating head.
Right. So, Brent, your character is Menu, right?
Yes, sir.
From what I saw when I was doing some research on the show, it was spelled like an acronym. Does Menu stand for something?
Yes, many eons near urethras. What is it, Petros? I forget.
We keep changing it. I mean, I can never think of it. I can never think of what exactly it's going to be. But right now, it stands for something completely absurd and nonsensical, which is Multi-Electronic Networked User System, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And when he says it's like, that makes no sense whatsoever. It's like, shut up. What are you, my mom?
All right. Brent, how did you get involved in the project?
Well, it was a long and lengthy process. Petros said, "You want to do this?" And I said, "Sure." That's pretty much. I mean, I've known Petros since he lived in New York City. We were friends in 2010.
Yeah,
and,
just after Final Fantasy Classics lyrics. I remember that.
We stayed in touch, and he just asked me if I'd like to play this role, and I said yes.
So, what is the character of Menu like?
Kind of a smartass. Kind of like if Zordon kind of had an attitude and some sass to him. I mean, I take some cues from Holly from Red Dwarf, which is a series some people know.
I think what's something important about Menu is that it's written specifically for Brent, and there is going to be that kind of brentalfloss charm to it. Like, whilst like when Brent did played like his sort of Zidler character in the Nostalgia Critic review. It was kind of like that. It kind of had a bit of brentalfloss in it, but it was very much something new. I think it's like good to like make that sort of comparison. Is that like you've got the three main characters. You've got Don, played by me. Jennifer plays Kara, and then you've got Menu, played by Brent. And at first glance, for the first like episode or two, you'll think that Menu is just kind of like a side character who just appears on the screen and says funny things. But as it progresses, Menu actually has a lot to do with the story, and a lot more than you might expect. And his character is insanely loyal to Jennifer's character, Kara, because her empire was overthrown, her parents were murdered, and he was like programmed to be loyal to the royal family. And so it's kind of like a bit like how in a lot of sci-fi you get this evil computer that has that like overthrows humanity. In this case, it's kind of the reverse. He's the computer who stayed loyal to the royal family, stayed loyal to Kara, and is intently loyal, and will do kind of some crazy shit in order to make sure that her mission succeeds and that Don kind of becomes the hero he needs to be.
What I'm curious about, though, is that, like, in the universe, like, the lore for My Life as a Video Game, how are the worlds laid out? Like, is it like a Kingdom Hearts kind of thing where they're going to have to take a ship to get there? Or?
It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts. Kara's like people. Kara's from the sort of genre of space shooters and space marines, kind of like Mass Effect style, sort of like video games, which will get explored in a later episode, but at the start it's just used as the premise for why she has a spaceship. And basically, it's kind of like Kingdom Hearts mixed with a little bit of Stargate in that kind of like they're jumping to different worlds and like they basically get ready and then they sort of beam to the next world. It's rather than like flying there with a ship, they're like sort of transporting to to another reality, as it were.
All right. Is there like a villain of the series, or is it just kind of circumstance, or?
There is an overarching plot in the end that the primary villain is General Dinas, who's the guy who killed Kara's father and overthrew her empire. He's basically like a military man. Like if I were to, he hasn't been cast yet, but if I was gonna like pick celebrity casting, I'd probably choose Bryan Cranston actually. Like I imagine he's the kind of guy who you'd imagine is like kind of a badass, but you can be sympathetic to him once you realize who the character is. Originally, I wrote him as kind of like cheesy villain. I'm going to take over the world, but I realized there's enough pastiche in it so I can make the character a bit more relatable.
There's enough take over the world, of course, villains out there.
Like he has his motivations for it, and they are actually quite not sinister, but you actually can relate to it in the end with his character. And there's a second primary villain who is who right now is just is kind of like this mysterious character just known as Smoker, who just basically was always appearing in the shadows and kind of becomes this rival to Don, like a personal rival to him. And I think people are going to really take to his character, and not only because he's been played by another British guy, but you know, but because I think the character himself is going to have a lot of mystery around him. It's been kind of, I think, it'll be one of those characters that people go, I want to know who this guy is, and like he'll keep you guessing for quite a while until we actually reveal who he is.
So is this going to be more towards a story arc and drama, or more towards comedy, or kind of a little bit in the middle?
Well, okay. I'm advertising the series as an action comedy, and I say that because there's a lot of action in it, which obviously is primarily dramatic. But the overall arc is actually a drama. But you'll go into episodes and you'll watch them and you'll laugh. It's supposed to be like comedy. If anybody ever saw Chuck, which it's very much on that kind of level, in that it is very funny and is primarily a comedy, but then it's got this dramatic side to it that has a bit more sinister. Like the first couple of episodes planned, we've got like the first person shooter episode, and then like a beat 'em episode and a survival horror episode as well. And the first two couple of episodes, the first person shooter, that's got a lot of action in it and a bit of comedy. Then you've got the beat 'em up episode, which is more comedy than anything else. And then you've got survival horror, which starts out as a comedy, like you've got some comedic bits, so just so it can like ease people into it. And then shit hits the fan and shit gets real basically. And much like I couldn't do survival horror and not have it be dramatic. Really, that's got to be something that people are going to be jumpy at, and it's going to scare people. In like mostly inspired by Resident Evil and a little bit of Slender Man in there now. Courtesy of Brent scaring the shit out of me.
I have a history with Slender Man on this show. Oy vey. Are you guys gonna be doing like seasons, or are you planning it to be just like an ongoing thing, or?
Well, when I first decided to write a show, I was thinking 3 seasons. I think due to the fact that my first season, it's planned out with like now with like 3 to 4 24 episode seasons. But I don't think every season is going to be 24 episodes. Like, for example, I don't think we're going to reach the 70,000 needed to produce 30 episodes. If we do, that'd be amazing. So anybody who wants to give like a ton of money, no, but seriously.
But even if we don't, like the idea is that we get enough, that you get enough to produce a season that says, hey, here's how good this show is. And then based on the goodness of season one, people go, oh, okay, we really want to see more of this money, money, money. That's the idea.
And you guys have the Kickstarter going for that. What are some of the rewards that you guys are offering for the Kickstarter?
Well, for $10 is the lowest reward. That you get special thanks in the credits, placed on the main website, mylifeasavideogame.com, which is actually up and running. And Brent is also going to be singing a unique song for everybody who contributes $10 or more. Anybody, it's not just people who donate $10; it's everything and above.
Mm-hmm. So if you give $10 or more, I'm going to make a silly little individualized video that gets sent only to you for, basically just saying thank you. But it's a little song that I'm going to work up and just kind of like improvise different songs for all the different people that donate. And so that's just $10 and up.
And then for like $25 is like downloads. You get HD downloads of the series and also a copy of the soundtrack, which the guy composing it, Kevin, fantastic composer. He's actually worked now with Nobuo Uematsu twice, the guy who composed the music for the Final Fantasy series. $35 you get I think a copy of Brent's first CD and a DVD from us. You can get things like walk-on roles, and like the big prize is the $5,000 one, which is associate producer credit, which basically means you'll get info that nobody else gets about the show except for the cast and crew. That you'll hear stuff way in advance. You get the series Bible. You get everything about it. You'll be invited to all the parties and stuff like that, and you'll be listed on IMDb, and it's quite a prestigious position as well.
And where are you guys on getting that funded at this point?
Right now, as of recording this, we are at 19,750 with approximately just under 7 days to go.
Final goal of that?
$30,000. So we have another 10,250 to make from as the time of this recording. We hope we can make it. We really want to do this show, and people have said in the past have said, why do you need so much money to produce this show? Because we don't want to just produce something with like a handheld camcorder and a green screen. We want to produce something using some like great locations and like using like professional actors and equipment. We really want to make this like a high budget thing, the kind of stuff that like Freddie Wong would produce.
Yeah. If you guys want an example of what can be made with a $200 Kickstarter. So if this is not a high budget show. So for people that be like, why do you need so much money? Because it's going to be awesome. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah.
From what I've seen with the concept art to the opening that you guys have, and from what I've heard of the music and everything about it, looks like it's going to be absolutely spectacular. So to everyone who if you're on the fence, I don't know that me saying anything is going to get you off the fence, but go put some money in the Kickstarter. Whatever you can. $1 is going to do something. Trust me, speaking from experience, $1 can make a difference in whether this gets funded or not.
Yeah. If we reach $29,999.99, we don't get funded.
If you guys go to the Kickstarter page and you back My Life as a Video Game, and you send an email to contact@gameplayfirstreviews.com, and you tell me that you watched this video and you went and backed the Kickstarter, I will add you to my Kickstarter VIP mailing list. You guys will get all the behind-the-scenes info from my Kickstarter. What am I reviewing next week? Behind-the-scenes tidbits. Blooper videos. Actually, you guys are gonna, if you don't do that, you're gonna miss a fucking awesome blooper video from my upcoming crossover with Port Center. I got 20 minutes of blooper footage out of Ben. This is gonna be the best blooper video I'm gonna do all year. So go and back their Kickstarter, and you will automatically get added to my VIP list. All right, for Gameplay First, this is Tyler signing off, and thanks again to you guys for being on the show. Now, if you'll excuse me, my Wii U is going to be here any minute.